Gentlemen, can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Now, I may not have sent you this. I'll send it to you. Its use is more on the ship, not for exam. You don't have to memorize anything. I'm telling you. I'll tell you what kind of question it principle with regard to Annex 2. Before 1st July 2007, the category was A, B, C, D. Effective 1st July 2007, Annex 2 was revised, and the reason for revision was because the kinds A, the number of chemicals being carried increased manyfold, and the types of chemicals that had increased with more level of danger to the marine environment, and also on board the ships, people carrying them involved in the carriage had increased. So this revision had to be done. Uh, so henceforth, the categories are X, Y, Z, and OS, other substances, which are the least or virtually no harmful. Now, what is the principal thing that you have to keep in mind if any kind of question comes in number 2? On Annex 2. Before 1st July 2007, when the categorization was different, that time Annex 2 had two special areas, the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. With this new revision, the principal objective philosophy has changed. It is treated as all the world's ocean is a special area. Discharge of any kind of chemical or the chemical washed from the tanks is prohibited. That is the principle. However, we can make a few exceptions for discharge, but depending upon the category of the substance. So therefore, there are no special areas. The entire world's ocean is a special area. Only thing is, with regard to Antarctic, we don't deal with it, but of course, there are many number of scientists from different countries. They are doing a lot of research in that very harsh environment. So if we're talking about special area, there is only one, that is Antarctic, that even these exceptions are not applicable. Even a drop of XYZ, even OS is prohibited if at all a chemical tanker reaches there. पहले बात तो वो वहां तक पहुंचेगा नहीं. There are no land there, no port, no habitation. So, but for the sake of good order, that is a special area prohibited. Rest, that is the principle that has to be followed. Other than that, there are certain reporting procedures that I have said that is not a very common question. Now, when we talk about, now we are getting into the optional annexes. Again, 1st July 2007 is important as far as Annex 3 is concerned. Why? Before that, IMDG code was only a recommendatory guide. We recommend that you use it. If you are not, no harm done, no questions asked. But because of the kinds of accidents that were happening with regard to carriage of dangerous goods, by an amendment in SOLAS, it says, why SOLAS? Because Chapter 7, and next week I'll be doing the SOLAS thing. Chapter 7, Part A deals with dangerous goods in package form, that is directly IMDG code. So, amendment to Chapter 7, Part A, it said from 1st July 2007, IMDG code usage is 100% mandatory. So practically as a bait, how does it change your life on board the ship? Sabse pehle, I'll tell you the checking that has to be done after loading of any dangerous good in containers or any other kind of package form. You have to write an entry in the deck logbook dangerous goods checked and loaded as per IMDG code. You have to write, because its usage is mandatory. If, for example, in future, while sitting in the cabin, PSC inspector sitting in the captain's cabin, he comes across that, okay, there's a dangerous cargo manifest or something. Okay, it's a confidential thing, but while talking, oh, Captain, you have dangerous goods in package form. Was the IMDG code? Yes. Can I see the entry made as a proof? That will save the ship as a smart mate that you will be. Now, coming to the point, what are the things you have to check? Marking and labeling. Sometimes, if the dangerous goods are inside the container, you can't. But then it is the responsibility of the shipper to give full detail. When you talk about commercial law, the April batch which you have done, May and June, of course, I'll be doing it with you. Responsibility with regard to under Hague-Visby rules with regard to carriage of dangerous goods, they have to be declared to the carrier being the ship owner or the shipping company. So now we come on board the ship. I'm telling you, pollution prevention, commercial law, insurance, these conventions, you look deeply, they are all one way or the other connected. There is a logical sequence where one stops, other starts. So marking and labeling wherever, like pellets, like drums, you have to check when they are dangerous goods and what will be your reference point. It could be the MSDS or other format, but that has to be provided by the shipper. Don't just start loading them. Then packing, we are not responsible for it. Exact UN number has to be mentioned. The trade names, if used, okay, first of all, they are not to be used, but it cannot be the only way of marking the thing. Documentation, most important when we are talking about MSDS, it gives special reference to the consulting the specific section or the page of the medical first aid guide and the emergency schedule. Emergency schedule deals with that if there is a spillage or tech, how to handle it, what kind of effluent to be used, that it has to be washed away with salt water, you open the fire pump, or it has to be with fresh water, or vacate the area, call somebody from the shore to take care of it. Whatever thing, it will be there in the emergency schedule. If that is resulting in a fire, how to fight the specific fire. Just give me a moment. Sorry, guys. So, and the medical first aid guide gives details, exact similar reference that God forbid if a person on board has come in contact, immediately what requires to be done. So documentation therefore is important. May be prohibited for carriage or limited, all that is given in the IMDG code. The point is that this is understandable that this will be there, document of authorization for carrying of dangerous good as per IFDG. We have done in the statutory certificate, mandatory certificate. Cargo stored segregated as per your document of compliance, not document of authorization, that is for grade. Marked having placard as required. These are the items which is to be checked. And MSDS available and ensure chemical used in engine room are only OWS and environmental friendly chemical. So this is what we are focusing on with regard to the carriage of dangerous good in package form. There is no survey required with regard to implementation of Annex 3, any kind of ship survey or cargo survey? No. The focus has to be on the documentation provided by the shipper, whether for commercial purposes or practical purposes, and the precautions to be taken. When we come to Annex 4, pollution by sewage, uh, another optional annex, I just want to bring this diagram, it will become more clear. If there is a sewage treatment plant, STP, on board the ship where the sewage is being treated before being discharged. Sewage is being, gray and black water coming from the toilets or your wash basin, your bath, your galley and pantry and all that. Then you can discharge within 3 nautical miles. But the sewage treatment plant has to be approved. Approved by whom? The Maritime Administration. They may outsource it to class as a separate issue. Responsibility will remain with that. And the approval certificate will be there with the captain in the certificate file. If there is no sewage treatment plant and you have a conventua and disinfecting system, conventua means they're making it like kiva, that is there. Then you can discharge between 3 to nautical and beyond 3 nautical miles. Not less than 3 nautical miles. Less than 3 is only allowed. You may say, okay, what is the meaning of this? Sometimes you are coasting, yeah. Just for the discharge of sewage, you may have to take a detour. Now that detour will depend whether you have a sewage treatment plant or a disinfecting system. Oh, the commuter, what I mentioned, garbage, I'm getting confused, sorry. Disinfecting system. And if you have nothing on board, you have 2 options. Either there will be a sewage holding tank, put it in that, they are small fellows. Go beyond 12 miles international waters as far as possible practically and have it discharged. That is what you have to focus on as far as Annex 4 is concerned. It's not a very important annex, but with regard to special areas. 1st July 2012, Baltic Sea was declared as a special area, but only for passenger ships, not for cargo ships. For cargo ships, this requirement continues. But as a smart chief officer, you need to be prepared that what one can expect in future. See, passenger ship, when we are talking about sewage, the amount of sewage and garbage generation is phenomenal as compared to cargo ships. So obviously, if we apply these kind of requirement, it can actually spoil the coast of the countries which is pretty close by in Baltic Sea, because the breadth of the Baltic Sea is not very large. And there, the ferry movement is very, very large. But that's why the countries decided, requested at IMO, it was made. But the point is, when anything is put on a trial basis, it would either start with passenger ships or tankers or both. And eventually, it will apply to all type of ships. So we can expect, if there is going to be a special area with regard to Annex 4 discharge of sewage, it is applicable to cargo ships. First and foremost, it's going to be the Baltic Sea. Now, coming to garbage, I would want to focus on this, that this I have sent as a separate diagram. This comes at the second mate level, not at the chief mate level. With regard to, there are 2 things that you have to keep in mind with regard to plastics. Of course, discharge 100% is prohibited, but if plastic is being incinerated within an approved incinerator on board, then even that ash has to be retained on board, proper logbook entry made, and that plastic ash has to be discharged ashore. Be very, very clear on that. A very interesting system that has started with regard to disposal of garbage. I know it's been almost 4 or 5 years in the European ports in order to encourage the ships to use the shore reception facilities. And number two, not because there are no free lunches in the world, and to encourage, or rather encourage the ship staff to use shore reception facilities, plus not be a burden to the ship owner. I mean, it's to do with cost. What they have done is, and the agent will tell you, captain, as a smart mate, you request a captain, sir, could you confirm about confirm from the agent if in this port disposal of garbage ashore is part of the port dues. What they have done is they have increased the amount of port dues to be charged from the ship. Why? Because that increase in cost is for the garbage to be discharged ashore, and you have to demand the receipt, otherwise PSC pakad lega agile port. And when you are discharging garbage ashore, so cost is justified. Now suppose after a long sea passage, you have come to Antwerp, and 2 days later you are in Rotterdam. You have discharged garbage in Antwerp. You may not have anything in Rotterdam. So Rotterdam also, the port dues are increased, but there through the agent, the owner applies. My ship did not discharge the garbage. They reduce the port dues on a pro rata basis accordingly. The ship owner is happy that I am not being charged anything extra. I'm only being charged when my ship is using the garbage discharge facility. And B, I'm not feeling a dent in my pocket that this is the port dues plus garbage, and it's a one-time thing. Like I'll just take it as the port dues have increased, like a general fees has increased. Okay, it is part of the ship's call to port. So it's a win-win situation. This system is catching on in the world. You may have experienced it, and please use it to the maximum. Now, as we had said, there are 10 special areas. Annex 1, one special area, Annex 2, that is Antarctic, otherwise the rest of the world is at Annex 3, not applicable. Annex 4, Baltic Sea, but only passenger ship. Annex 5, there are 8 special areas. I've already said it to you, but just it is good to enhance your answer if you memorize all of them. Right? So these are the 8 special areas. Now, with regard to Annex 6, I have where's that? I'd like to focus on what I have said to the April and May batches, which I will be don't worry, you will be getting all of this. The focus is on these basically 2 things. By the way, there are two elements with regard to air pollution from ships. One is the sulfur content in the fuel. Let me just check whether I have. I'll just bring it all. Anyway. Can you see this Word document, please?
Yes, sir.
First of all, you will not be calling the special areas as SECA. It will be treated as a principal error, SOx emission control area. No, it is emission control areas, because there are certain areas which are applicable only to SOx, other areas SOx and NOx also. So Baltic Sea area is SOx, North Sea area is SOx only, North American area and the Caribbean Sea area is not SOx and particulate matter. Now, when we talk about energy efficiency regulation, this is specifically what as deck officers we are supposed to know. One is EEDI and other is SEEM. EEDI is Energy Efficiency Design Index. That start at the time of drawing up of the plans by the naval architect. Responsibility of the chief engineer, responsibility of the ship owner to ensure that he is having the best possible practices in place, that the efficiency of the engine that has been chosen is such that it is as per the NOx technical code. NOx means oxides of nitrogen. And basically it means that when the ship is constructed and delivered, there is a formula, we don't have to get into it, which actually calculates the design index for the efficiency of the engine. So therefore, based on that formula, the final result answer of the formula, smaller the EEDI number, better the energy efficiency. Better the energy efficiency means that whatever the oxygen combustion that is taking place, it is so efficient that minimum amount of exhaust gases are being released into the atmosphere. Lower the amount of exhaust gases, because exhaust gases what contains the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. That's why carbon dioxide we use as inert gases after scrubbing it on board tankers, cheapest, free of cost. Or literally rugby if we are inerting the tanks. And carbon dioxide is the most culprit for as a greenhouse gas, is the biggest culprit for global warming, and that is what the ship's contribution. So based on the design index, the finer the amount of exhaust gases, the contribution of that ship is less and less. And although this is applicable up to 2025, thereafter, for every 5-year period, a new design index will be developed and implemented on board the ships. And there is a lot of flexibility given, that as far as the EEDI requirements of the NOx technical code are being maintained, whichever option the ship owner finds cheapest and suitable for a ship, he can do it. he can use that particular type of energy efficiency for his engine. And the EEDI is dependent upon the size of the ship and the type of the ship and the speed, service. So much for the EEDI. Now we come on board the ship. That's what it says. That the fuel efficiency of a ship from its design phase. It is non-prescriptive, and therefore choice of technologies to use in a specific ship design to the industry. You can go to it. Now, this was based on this. I would say that EEDI requirement came in 2013. SEEP came in 2016 guidelines, which are being followed. Now, this is an operational measure. It's a plan, as it says, management plan. So therefore, it has to be ship specific. Plus, the owner must have the on a macro level for his entire fleet to improve the energy efficiency of a ship in a cost-effective manner. So basically, this plan urges the ship owner or the manager at each stage of the plan and functionality to consider new technologies and keep investing on it. Now, this is the other side of the coin of the polluter pays principle. Up till now, we only know one side कि भाई pollution हो गया है marine environment का कि air environment का, you pay for it to clean up. But the other side is you invest in technologies to prevent the pollution. वो भी तो एक other side of the same coin of polluter pays principle is. That is what the focus here is. With regard to the SOx, as a bait when you are taking rounds on deck while bunkering, you have to know. I mean, you must be already going through this. Has been happening for quite some time. That before bunkering, there's a bunkering sampling point. The sample has to be taken. The agent will take it to the lab. The report will be sent on board. And there has to be a written document submitted by the bunker supplier that what is the sulfur content in the bunker that is being supplied to the ship, and that has to be supplied before the chief engineer signs the bunker delivery note. Whatever the sulfur content has been mentioned in the bunker delivery note by the bunker supplier has to tally with the bunker sample report from the lab, which in future will be mailed by the agent. Guys, are you with me?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
just give me. I want to show you something. Guys, I don't know where I have saved it. I just wanted to show a block diagram, but I'll show it tomorrow morning before starting OPA 90. That will not take very long. And then subsequently, I will be doing the Maritime Labor Convention, and uh, I'll move on to Bunker Convention and the HNS Convention. You know, these questions are of difference of scope, etc. During this week, I'll be doing it. Next week, I hope to do the Solus Convention, and we are moving towards the end for the April batch. So, can we? So I've completed the MARPOL thing. Can we knock off early but stay logged in till 16:45?
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm also standing by.
Okay.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. It's 16:45. We'll dock off for the day. Thanks for all your help and cooperation, and I'll see you first lecture